Good afternoon, everyone. We are in lecture 2 of context free grammar, unit number 3. So, we already know what is grammar. Grammar is a set of production that is used to drive strings of a language. So, in last lecture, we took a grammar as tends to AS and as tends to epsilon as a grammar, say G. And in last lecture we have idea there is something known as non-terminal. Non-terminal is just like a variable and it is always written in capital. Here what we have a non-terminal, we have non-terminal capital S. So while we will drive any string from this grammar, if we take S, we can replace the S by AS, or we can replace by S by epsilon. There is something known as terminals. Terminal is always written in small letters, and here we have a terminal A. It is just like a symbol as in finite automata, a symbol that is used to make a string. And here we have only one symbol, that is A. It means that in the language that will be derived from grammar G, string will be made of A's only. And this set is known as set of productions. So in a grammar G, there are four things. First is set of non-terminals. Second is set of terminals. It is just like a symbols that is used to make a string. And third is productions. It is set of productions. And fourth is capital S. Capital S is known as a start symbol. It means that we have so many non-terminals in which one of them is S, and we have to derive string start from S only. If we have two non-terminal S and A and we are going to derive a string, we will start from S only. So S is the start symbol. So we have derived so many strings in last lecture as tends to epsilon, using production number, using production S tends to epsilon. We have derived S tends to we have derived A as S tends to S, and by replacing this S by epsilon we derived A. We have derived double A also, as first we use S tends to AS, then replace this S by AS again, and then replace this S by epsilon. We have derived double A. As in exercise I have given to you to derive triple A. So triple A is derived as first use S tends to AS, replace this S by AS again, then replace this S by AS again, then replace this S by epsilon. We have derived triple A also. If you will observe the pattern, we can also derive four times A, 5 times A, 6 times A, and so on. How can we derive 4 times A? We will replace this S by AS again, and we will replace S by AS again. We can derive 5 times A and 6 times A, and so on. So from this language from this pattern you can observe that using grammar we can derive the language of grammar, say LG, language of grammar G is a की power n, where n greater than equal to 0. So we can derive, when we will put n is equal to 0, we will derive epsilon. When we will put n is equal to 1, we will derive a. For n is equal to 2, we will derive double a. For n is equal to 3, we can derive triple a, and so on. So this is known as the language that we have derived using this grammar, and it is productions. It is productions. So grammar is set of 4 tuples. As we have already said, if grammar is a set of 4 tuples, non-terminals, terminal, production, and start symbol. Here we have terminal S, non-terminal S. Here we have terminal A, set of production P, where P is S tends to AS, S tends to epsilon, and we have start symbol S, PR productions as S tends to AS, S tends to epsilon. Okay. Oh, so we it is time to move on another language, another grammar, and we will see another language that will be derived using that grammar. So S tends to AS, S tends to A. So here we have non-terminal S, we have terminals A, we have productions S tends to AS, S tends to A, and we have start symbol S in this grammar. So what we can derive from this grammar? We cannot derive epsilon, one of important thing, because at least we will derive S tends to A. We cannot derive epsilon. What we can derive? S tends to A. We can also derive double A, as we will first use S tends to S, and then replace this S by A. We can also derive triple A. First use S tends to S, replace this S by AS, then replace this S by A. We can derive 4 times A. S tends to AS, replace this S by AS, then replace this S by AS, then replace last S by A. So we can derive A, double A, triple A, 4 times A. We can also derive 5 times A by replacing this S by AS again, and put the S tends to A at last. So language of this grammar is S tends to A की power n, where n greater than equal to 1. So one more important thing is that while we are writing a grammar or production, we use arrow with a single line, but while we are deriving a string, we will use double line arrow. Why? Because double line arrow represent we are in the process of deriving a string. It is a step by step procedure, and it is a production given. We are not expanding it, but we are expanding it by putting the values again and again till we have derived the string. One important another thing is that why S is known as non-terminal, because it will be replaced. It is not going to end here. We have to replace it by some value, so that we will terminate here. A is a terminal. We cannot replace this A by something. but we can replace this as by something. It is terminated, it is non-terminated, because we have to replace it. So if starting from start symbol we followed various steps, so many steps, and we reached to a string w, then w belong to language, that is derived from the grammar. Okay, so how a grammar is differ from automata such as dfa, nfa, epsilon, and fa? It is differ because fa is a machine, automata is a machine. It is known as acceptor. Acceptor means if input is accepted, then it belong to the language. If input is not accepted, means it do not reach to the final state, then input is rejected. And what is grammar? Grammar is a generator for a language. We generate the strings. We generate the strings of a language using some production, using some steps. And the steps used to drive a string, and the procedure to drive the string is known as derivation. It is also known as generation of a string. So as an exercise, I am given a new grammar s tends to as, s tends to bs, and s tends to epsilon to u, and to find what is the language of the grammar, where g is set of terminal, non-terminal is s, set of terminals are a and b, and productions are these, and s is start symbol. So find what is lj. Thank you.